Sana, aka the Nail Architect, and welcome back to another video. Long time no see. To be honest, I contemplated on leaving this channel altogether. I had no idea what to upload here. I did put out a few videos. People didn't seem interested. No clue on what to do over here. So I thought this video could help all my fellow beginners. I became a nail tech in 2020, and then the pandemic hit. Did I really have a chance to work on hands? Real hands? No. So my practice hand was a gift that I gave to myself. I no longer have her. And this is just a disclaimer. You won't see her. You won't see her in this video. What happened was I started noticing the wires that underneath the fingers started sticking out. And although I did manage to fix her with this product, I sold Liza. I sold her in a time that it was a great demand for practice fingers and practice hands. During the pandemic, the practice hands and practice fingers were either out of stock or super expensive. So I was lucky. Within a week of putting it out there that I was selling her, Liza was gone. This is a video dedicated to practice hands. I hope it helps, and if it does, leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up if you like it. Let's do this. I don't know if you guys remember that on one of my hauls, I had shown you guys these fingers. I've told you that these were perfect to practice the ugly things, like let's say you're starting something and you're not sure how it's going to come out. And anytime I get an inspiration for a design, so I want to lay down the sequence and make sure I'm using the right steps. Love, love, love these fingers. They are from Aliexpress. I was actually looking for fingers that look like the Rediguana ones. But they didn't have it, of course, so I got these. But then when I saw these practice hands, I was excited. This is the practice hand that I bought from Aliexpress. Since then, and I want to say that I bought this a few months ago, okay? Since then, I've seen so many websites selling these hands, and again, for ridiculous, ridiculous prices. A lot of people have been doing videos and they say they buy this from Amazon, which I think the only reason they do it is so they don't have to wait as long as I did, which I'm gonna tell you, I only waited 2 weeks for this to come. If you head over to my Instagram, you will see some nail art that I was trying, and I was using this hand to pose it. First thing out of the bat, I was happy with the size. You can see this hand is bigger than mine. I love it. The second thing that I liked about it is it looks like very realistic. I think because the silicone is so soft, most thing that I was hoping for was this, being able to bend the fingers without forcefully doing so. You see how pretty that looks? It looks a very natural pose for a hand, right? With Liza, and guys, I'm not bashing Liza. I love her. I still do think those practice hands were amazing, and that's why I want them in the first place. But I wanted a full hand. I got a pair. This is the right hand, and I had a left hand. So my plan was to use at least one of the hands to practice gel application, filing. So I was a little bit rough with the hand. And you see this area, this cuticle area. I'm going to get a tip so you can see exactly what I mean. I just put some tips here. Don't mind them. I didn't size them very well. I just want to show you. The cuticle area is very thin. The hand itself is very, very soft. What I did while I was practicing, I noticed that it ripped a little bit of this cuticle area, and I was devastated. I kept this hand just for pictures, and I'm going to show you what I did with that hand. This is the left hand that I told you guys that I've messed up. And are you ready? If you're squeamish, I'm going to tell you, don't look right now, because I'm going to show you something gruesome. Okay, so I've used a pair of scissors and I cut the fingers. So this was the one that I was explaining that I damaged while I was filing. It never ever looked nice per se. You can see it's actually 2 wires in there and they are sticking out. What I did try to do was pulling it out so it wasn't as exposed. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm going to use it to practice. Sorry, this looks crazy. So the other fingers, I have them here. The pinky is way too small. I'm going to be honest. I don't think I'm going to use it, but you never know. Again, it's gonna be added to those other fingers that I have there. So you've seen me use this finger a lot for my nail art videos. This is the finger that I use the most. I was thinking, since I did those fingers like that, that it would be so nice if I had some kind of a stand while I'm practicing. First nail haul, that I had a bag full of these stands, and I was telling you that I would use it for myself as a guide, so I could keep my finger in frame when I was filming. But I had so many of them that I don't need, right? I was thinking to get these stands and put some glue. I'm gonna test it out and I'm gonna let you know. So you can grab it over here. So I have 3 practice fingers in addition to the other practice fingers that I got from Aliexpress. You should definitely get it. So I would advise this for anyone who wants to practice nail art, but not heavy duty filing, guys. Just my opinion. So this is the other hand that I got. I wanted to get a different skin tone and practice to see which kind of colors and combinations would look on a deeper skin tone. These hands that I got from AliExpress. I'll leave all the prices so you know how much I paid for them at the time. Just bear in mind this was months ago, and these hands are now more expensive after Brexit. For us in the UK, it's added shipping and tax. So anyone who's planning on purchasing, you can weigh down if you want to do all that, or just go on Amazon and buy it. Be wondering, so what do I have? Is the type of hand that I wanted from the beginning, which has 5 fingers. This finger though, it doesn't bend. This is what I think that was the issue with Liza. That I think I damaged her because I was bending constantly the fingers to file, and then I was bending it back again to pose. So with this one, I'm strictly using it because it's heavy duty silicone. It's not as soft as this hand. This one, I love it because when I'm filing, I'm never worried that I'm gonna damage it. And with time, I also became more conscious about how I need to file around the cuticle area, not only for the practice hand, for myself. And I only got to learn this because I've made mistakes on my practice fingers. This hand has been amazing. I've had it for, I want to say, 2 months. I've been loving this practice hand. It's from the Handolly. It was a little bit problematic, I'm not gonna lie, to get this hand, but I finally did it and I'm very happy. So I will leave you the link for this hand as well if you live in the UK. But just be aware that it might take a long time for you to get it. Okay, and also, as I don't know if you can tell, but this hand has a lot of imperfections, which I'm willing to bypass because once I put makeup on it, you almost don't see it. So I'm fine with that. I think it's you can never get a perfect hand when they are like handmade, right? So, but I do like the fact that it looks like skin. As even the knuckles, like all the wrinkly things. This finger doesn't bend, but I don't mind it. I really wanted to have 5-finger practice hand, and I feel like now with the knowledge that I have from what happened with Liza, I have this to compensate for, and I'm very happy with this practice hand. Heavier than your typical practice hand. So just want to, in comparison, I just want to say this practice hand from the Handolly is heavy too, but because it has the hole for, this is what I would use to get my practice hand. So you put it over here. It doesn't have to be like really forceful. If you just twist the hand, it goes in quite a bit. It has a suction cup right here, and you just put it on your table and you angle your camera and you can do your videos and never worry that being out of frame. This is what I love about having a practice hand like this and something like this. So it comes out easily, and this go together. For these practice hands, of course, you could just lay them on your wrist rest or just have it on the table. On my latest organizational video, I've recommended this clip phone holder. It cost me £3 from the Flying Tiger. So I would just get this, put the hand over there. To help with the bouncing, you can always use a wrist rest to the back. It's clipped onto the table and it won't bounce as much. You can make it really tight over there, right? So this is how it looks clipped. Get elastic bands for sure, guys, to tighten up these. One other thing that you need to keep in mind, these hands, they catch a lot of fluff. They've been in the drawer for a while, but I think the fluff is coming from the sleeves that I got onto them. And I don't know if you can see it. If you're planning on using them to file, just bear in mind that you're gonna have to clean it so well for the pictures because it will be very evident. I was following some advice to clean this, but I don't like it. Look, so much fluff. Don't recommend the wipes. What else can I use to clean these hands? I've been using these antibacterial household wipes. Ones not only because it kills bacteria and germs, but it also cleans them very well. So I'm gonna show you right here that it doesn't fluff up. This is from the baby wipes, okay? This was the leftover. I'm gonna show you. This hand still has a little bit of leftover. Look. This one particularly has a lot of makeup. I think you can tell. Because I was trying to disguise the imperfections, I put a lot of makeup on it. So every time I finish like a set, I clean it up again because I know that I'm gonna file and use alcohol and the color is gonna come off eventually anyway. So I clean it up like that, and then you get some paper towel and dry them down, and they look brand new. You remember this palette that I have, right? For these two, I've been using these and a little bit of this around the knuckles. I just go in, then I start dusting. This one gets the color kind of like patchy, but if you keep blending, somehow it will look good at the end. But just the first times that you do it, don't get discouraged to carry on blending. It's silicone. It's never gonna look like a real hand, but the main goal is to use these hands, practice our nail art, practice our application, and yeah, and then have like beautiful pictures on Instagram. And whenever we're gonna do videos on YouTube, we wanna have something similar to real hand, right? It's starting to look quite good in my mind. This. And I'm gonna mix this color and this, but this one I'm gonna try not to have it as dense. I'm gonna go around this area. You see what the difference it made? I wish I can show you. Okay, so can you see around here and look around there? Can you see a difference? So it's not very like dark, but it's a hint of color, which is normally when you have your knuckles like that. It has a shadow. This is what I'm trying to replicate. Okay, if it's too much, then you use this brush again and go over it to soften the color. Okay. As you can tell, there's a little bit of a defect in here. I don't mind it. Even if it had this scar, they would look something like that. So it has veins. It makes it so realistic. And this is the hand with makeup. I'm gonna put some tips here so you can see how pretty it looks. So for this one, I'm gonna use the same exact technique. I'm gonna use this color as my base. The reason why I use more makeup on this one is just because it has those little imperfections that could be a kind of telltale sign. And this is what I appreciate about the one from AliExpress. It's perfect. The finish is definitely perfect. I love it. This one, as I said, is for my heavy duty. I would only do this step once I've finished filing, finished the design, everything. I get the small brush, go around this color and this color. With this hand, I'm so happy with the skin tone that I don't want to touch it. It's simple as that. I just find that this skin tone is so gorgeous, and it goes all throughout this finger, so I don't have to worry really. It's all very even and I love it. I really love it. So I'm not gonna do any makeup on this hand. I was about to go and then I remember I haven't discussed the tips. I've added 3 types of tips on the hands. First one is some type of a nude, pinkish nude. This is a clear and this is a white one, like natural, right? So I want you to pay attention to how this nude, you can kind of see it somewhat here, right? Some shadowing. And then keep in mind for the darkest shades, since this silicone is so soft, you might run into this issue if you use natural or pinkish nude tips. Okay, this one I think you can still see it somewhat here. Look at the middle finger, which is the clear tip. You don't see anything, right? If you do remove the tip, paint them separately and then insert them, keep in mind whatever color you choose to put on these tips, how deep you're gonna insert it to the nail, because you can see it. So I would suggest using clear tips for the designs for these nails, for all of them, but especially for the deeper colors. And another thing is, you're probably wondering how deep can these tips go, right? This is the tip that I'm using. It's long. I'm going to insert this tip as deep as it goes so you can see. So this is the maximum. And apparently it goes up to here. Can you see it lifting over here? So that's how far it goes. So it's okay, but I don't think this would be enough for when you're filing, that it would hold your tip, especially if it's something this long. The pocket is not very deep, as I said, and you must use either clear for the deeper colors, lighter colors. I think you can see there's some shadowing over here. You can see it definitely lighter around here, and this is the nude pinkish tip. And for this white one, not as much, but you can still see it. I would just not take the chance and use always clear, because this silicone is so soft, it kind of grips. Once you insert your tip after you finish your design, it will stay like that. So that's a good thing. As long as you're careful when you're placing your hand to take the picture, you will not mess up the tip. You don't need to use glue. It will stay, especially if you choose the right sizing. Once I start applying the gel color, encapsulating things, then the nail got a little bit thicker, and when I put it in, it kind of deformed around here on the cuticle area, and you don't want that. You wanted to keep it like the tips. If this was a human hand on these lateral folds, you wouldn't have nail coming off of it, right? So you want to keep it that way as well when you do your art. So I would go slightly down on a side, especially if I know I'm going to add a lot of design to a specific tip. I would say go a size down, so when the nail gets a bit thicker, you will notice when you place it on the hand for the pictures. Okay, does it make sense what I'm trying to say? I hope so. I really do hope so. I know it sounds kind of silly to spend this much money just to do that, but if you really want to have a feel of how a nail art design would look in different skin tones, I think this is great, but if you're looking for something to practice on, I wouldn't suggest these hands. I'm just being very honest with you guys. And so I had a pair for this color, and I ruined that hand by filing it. And I promise you, I wasn't even filing too hard. Even this one itself, you can see that it was already tearing just from me putting tips on it. I never used this hand to practice, to apply product and file or anything. Like I had a couple of sessions where I was doing back-to-back nail art and inserting tips and just tear down. You need to be very gentle with these hands, but they look amazing. I would say they look the most realistic to me. Get these hands for sure, but I would not advise this training, filing, and you know. For this silicone hand, the heavy duty one as I call it, as you can see, the tip is not very long. But the great thing about this hand now is when you insert it, because I put it like upside down, so where you see the tip is where I insert it in. Look how amazing this is. You can file and the tip is not going to pop off. You see? So you can glue a tip on top of this and then do your designs or do your practice sessions, and you just remove it and you can save it. And this is why I'm loving this hand. Before I was just having to soak off all the designs. This is one of the reasons why Liza didn't hold the test of time, because I think I was soaking it in acetone, I was bending it too much for the pictures. The silicone on this one is much harder than the Rediguana ones. I love it. I really do love it. Once again, this is the Handolly. Use this for practicing gel application, filing, and then I use these pretty ones for my nail art. Rather than having to bend these fingers, I just do these ones. You are able to achieve more natural kind of poses with this one than with something really hard. And even for pictures, I think this looks like so beautiful.
As you can see, there are pros and cons for both hands, and I love them for different reasons. So if you have any questions about anything on this video, feel free to leave me a comment and I should help. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you on the next one. Bye bye.